She was just 12 years old, with big eyes and a shy smile that spoke of innocence. But now, that innocence was gone. Muna was pregnant, and she had no idea how it happened. In a small, quiet village in Nigeria, life went on as it always did, simple, slow, and full of secrets. Children played in dusty streets, women balanced bowls of goods on their heads, and men gathered under the shade of the old Iroko tree. Among these ordinary scenes, there was Muna. She was just 12 years old, with big eyes and a shy smile that spoke of innocence. But now, that innocence was gone. Muna was pregnant, and she had no idea how it happened. It all started with little things. Muna felt tired all the time. Her stomach, once flat and small, began to swell. At first, she thought it was from eating too much yam, but soon the changes became impossible to ignore. The whispers began. Her classmates giggled and pointed, their words sharp like tiny knives. The women at the market stared, their faces twisted with pity and judgment. One day her mother, Amaka, stopped her as she was sweeping the floor. "Muna," Amaka said, her voice sharp but her eyes full of worry. "What's wrong with you? Why is your belly like this?" "I don't know, Mama," Muna said, tears spilling down her cheek. "I swear I don't know." Amaka's face hardened. "You don't know? How can you not know?" But as Muna cried, Amaka saw something in her daughter's face. The confusion, the fear, the truth. Amaka was a strong woman, but that night, as she lay awake listening to Muna's soft snores, her heart twisted with worry. She couldn't ignore what was happening. Early the next morning, she took Muna by the hand and walked to the health center on the edge of the village. The health center was small, with peeling paint and worn-out chairs. Sister Grace, a nurse known for her tough but kind nature, greeted them. "What brings you here, Amaka?" she asked, eyeing Muna's growing belly. Amaka hesitated, then blurted out, "Something is wrong with my daughter. Her stomach is swelling and she says she doesn't know why. I don't know why too." Sister Grace's eyes softened as she looked at Muna. "Come with me, my dear," she said, leading the girl into a small examination room. Amaka waited outside, wringing her hands. Minutes felt like hours until Sister Grace returned, her face grave. "Amaka," she said, "your daughter is pregnant." Amaka's knees buckled. "What?" she whispered. "That's not possible. She's just a child." "I know," Sister Grace said gently, "but it's true. The question now is, who did this?" Amaka turned to Muna, her voice trembling. "Muna, you must tell me the truth. Did someone hurt you? Did someone touch you?" Muna shook her head, her eyes wide with tears. "I don't know, Mama," she whispered. "I don't remember." By the time they returned home, the news had already started to spread. The health center was the kind of place where secrets didn't stay hidden for long. The elders gathered under the Iroko tree, stroking their beards and nodding seriously. The women gossiped in hushed tones. "Maybe it's a curse," one woman whispered. "Maybe a spirit did it," another said, her eyes wide. But the most frightening question lingered on everyone's lips. Who could have done this? Amaka was desperate for answers. The village elders called Muna to the square, where the whole community had gathered. They asked her, "Had you been with a boy? Did someone touch you?" Mona shook her head furiously. "No, I don't remember anything," she cried. But her words only deepened the mystery. As the days passed, bits and pieces of Mona's memories began to surface. She remembered fetching water from the stream. She remembered a man, someone who had smiled at her and given her sweets, but his face was blurry, like a dream she couldn't quite hold on to. One day, a woman arrived in the village. Her name was Kemi Oladipo, a journalist from Lagos. She had heard about Mona's story and came with a camera slung over her shoulder and a notebook full of questions. "Can I speak to Mona?" Kemi asked Amaka. At first, Amaka was hesitant. What good would a stranger do? But Kemi's determination was unshakable, and soon she was sitting under the mango tree with Mona. "Tell me everything," Mona said gently, "even the things you are afraid to say." Mona hesitated but began to talk. She spoke of the blurry man, the sweets, and the strange emptiness in her memories. As Kemi listened, a chill ran down her spine. Something about Mona's story didn't just seem sad, it seemed wrong. Kemi began digging. She spoke to neighbors, teachers, and even the migrant workers who had passed through the village months ago. One name kept popping up: Chike. He was a laborer who had left the village suddenly around the time Mona's belly began to grow. The policemen brought in after Kemi's investigation unearthed critical leads called Chike in for questioning. He arrived at the station with a calm face, but the tension in the air was clear. After a series of questions, one of the officers leaned forward, his tone firm but measured. "Chike, we are investigating a serious matter, and your name has come up. Until this case is resolved, you are instructed not to leave the village. Any attempt to do so will be seen as an obstruction of justice." Chike nodded, his voice steady, but his eyes avoiding theirs. "I understand, officer. I will stay." As Kemi, the journalist from Lagos, dug deeper into Mona's story, she received an anonymous tip. Late one evening, while sitting on the steps of her guest house, a villager approached her under the cover of darkness, speaking in quiet tones. "I saw something months ago by the riverside," the man whispered. "Ade was there, talking to Mona. He gave her something, maybe sweets, I think." She looked scared, but I didn't think much of it at the time. Before Kemi could ask further questions, the man disappeared into the shadows, leaving her with more questions than answers. The next morning, Kemi shared the tip with Amaka and the village elders. Ade, a respected family friend who had been around during that time, became a suspect. The villagers were shocked. Ade had always been known as a kind man, trusted by many and loved by children. When confronted, Ade denied everything. "I don't know what you are talking about," he said, his voice steady but his eyes avoiding contact. "I would never harm a child." With Amaka's permission, she arranged for a DNA test, a rare thing in the village where science was a myth than reality. They collected Ade and Chike's DNA sample. Weeks later, the result came back. The truth hit like a thunderclap. The man who had gotten Mona pregnant wasn't a stranger. He wasn't even an outsider. He was someone she knew well. Someone who had been welcomed into their home as a family friend. And the results were clear. Ade's DNA matched that of Mona's unborn child. By the time the results were confirmed, the village was in turmoil. Some were outraged on Mona's behalf. Others whispered that she had brought shame to them all. Ade was arrested, but the truth could no longer be hidden. Mona's memories became clearer over time, and she remembered Ade's face, his smile, and the sweets by the riverside. Mona's story didn't end there. Kemi wrote about her in newspapers across the country. People were horrified by what had happened and demanded justice for Mona and other girls like her. In the village, things slowly began to change. Programs were created to teach families about protecting their children. The elders, once too proud to admit fault, began to speak openly about abuse and safety. As for Mona, her life would never be the same. The child she carried was a constant reminder of what had been stolen from her. But with her mother and Kemi by her side, she found strength that she didn't know she had. She began speaking out, her voice steady and clear, demanding a world where girls like her could dream without fear. And though the village still whispered, Mona no longer hid from their stares. She walked through the dusty streets with her head held high, her wide eyes full of hope. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you never miss our next captivating story. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment, and don't forget to share this with your friend.